Hi, welcome to HR in the Fast Lane. I'm Nicole Martin, and today I'm welcoming my guest, Deb Morrin. She's the CEO and founder of Kase Orion CFO. And Deb, please share with everyone a little bit about Kase Orion CFO.
Kase Orion CFO is a company that I founded, Nicole, about 4 years ago. After working as a chief financial officer in a variety of different companies and industries, I saw a real need for smaller companies to have affordable financial talent as a strategic and tactical way to help them in their businesses.
You know, and I love that. I'm all about the strategic integration, right? You're talking about strategic integration from a financial basis, and for a smaller business who can't afford to go out and hire their full-time CFO, and you think about all the fundamental things they're doing financially, give me some examples. What are some of the fundamental things that starting businesses or growing businesses should be looking to their financial partner for during this critical time in their business?
Well, today you really need to get started on the right foot financially. Yeah. We've personally gone in and cleaned up so many different accounting departments for growing companies because it starts to turn into a rat's nest a little bit. And then you don't really know what you have. You don't know what your revenue is. You don't know what your profits are. And you can't run a business that way. So we do go in on a part-time basis, and we try to get in as early as possible and set up all the accounting, and we provide the full outsourced part-time accounting solution with a staff accountant and a CFO. So we're doing all the blocking and tackling so you know your financial information is being done correctly, because it's really hard to go back and correct it later. But at the same time, you're getting strategic help. So new companies need things like, if they're looking for outside investors, they need capitalization tables, which shows ownership, and those can be complex financial things. So we do those. We also do forecasts for how much cash you have and when you're going to run out of cash, so you know what you should be spending on and what you shouldn't be. And all kinds of things, when you can hire, what your pricing should be, what your gross margin should be. Are you going to be making money if you only have a 20% gross margin? We had a client that was only making about 20%, and we advised him, he was an online e-tailer, and we said, you really need to be at 35%, or you might as well just forget about it. It's not worth it because you won't make money at the bottom line.
Wow.
So there's a lot of situations where people don't really realize how the dynamics of their pricing and their costs combine, and they are in business, after all, to make money.
Right.
So
well, they have to if they have staff, right?
Exactly. You have to be able to pay for your staff, and you also want to have a little bit left over so that you can reinvest in growth. And that's another big thing. It takes a lot of money as you're growing a business rapidly. So even though you might have profits, you need to reinvest it to hire more staff, and usually you're spending ahead of your growth curve on revenue. So you need to do careful planning for that.
So I assume that your consultants are truly proactive as well, helping educate your clients.
Oh, definitely. We're always educating our clients of all size companies. We work in companies all the way up to $1 billion, and we've had $200, $300 million companies, even $700 million, where they really need, even entrepreneurs that have been in business for 20 years, really need to better understand how their business is generating cash and why, and how we can increase their cash flow so that they can then have that money to do other things with, like buy businesses or whatever to keep growing.
Oh, and that's what the really fun CEOs that get out there and do, right?
Exactly.
So mergers and acquisitions, even you get into due diligence?
Oh, absolutely. We just finished a due diligence project for a private equity firm where they had a $20 million company, and they had 5 letters of intent out on $100 million worth of other companies. So we actually helped them with all the due diligence. We bought one company, the others are still outstanding. Wow. But yeah, so it's very important, because when you want extra cash so you can maybe grow by buying a company. Absolutely. But is this company really worth what you're going to pay for it, and what is it worth? So that's what we do. We say, what is this worth? What should you pay for it? What shouldn't you pay for it?
Do you typically come into the clients incrementally? Is that negotiated and customized with the client based on their needs?
Generally, there's a huge pain. So for example, one pain is often the CEO can't get his financial statements or her and doesn't understand what's going on in the business financially. So we'll come in and we'll start with a pain point. And so we'll address that pain point pretty quickly because we're very experienced. Right. So we can pretty quickly start fixing it. But then we usually find all kinds of other problems underlying that one, because that's just a symptom. It's not really, it's the result of a lot of other problems. So we'll go in and we'll do it incrementally. We'll talk to the client about how much they want to spend, and if they want to extend longer over time, we can come in really as little as 1 or 2 days a month with our CFO.
Really?
and or 1 to 3 days a week.
Okay.
And at that point, at 3 days a week, it makes sense to hire your own person.
Okay.
And we'll actually help interview, because one of the problems, and this is your bailiwick, is a lot of CEOs don't really understand how to evaluate financial people,
Sure.
where we do.
Right.
So we're helping them say, here's the kind of profile you need, and by the way, here's our network, and we'll introduce people to them,
Right.
and we'll transition to an in-house person. But you know that area.
Yeah, no,
that's
that's
tough.
what you and I have in common.
Yes,
I think we
exactly.
really understand. And that truly, Deb, is one of the things that I just enjoy about our conversations that we share, because when you say that you're coming in and you're helping strategically with a client, and I do the same thing, I say we come in and help strategically, you sit there and start to observe in the marketplace some of the other things that are out there. What inspired you to found your business and become an entrepreneur?
Well, I have a passion for helping people. I realize I've been told it was a weakness at some of my employers, that
You're
I was
kidding.
too nice and I was too helpful and I was
my
going
gosh.
over. Right. So I decided to turn it into a strength, and which is I have a passion for really helping people. And I really love business. I do see the whole business picture. And so I feel like we can really add value, and it's these entrepreneurs' lives and the CEOs' lives. Even if it's a second or third generation family-owned company or private equity-owned company, there's a lot of emotion invested in that company. And I want them to be as successful and happy and feel good about it and grow their business. That's what my passion is. I'm kind of like a company doctor, if you will.
Well, and it's such a vital thing, right?
Yes,
the
it
business
is.
does not hum without cash flow.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Right.
And that's something sometimes you can
Yeah.
learn the hard way.
Yes.
Right?
And that's another time when we're brought in a lot. When there's a cash, why am I not have enough cash?
great.
We just had one the other day, and it's clear that we can tumble to the issues pretty quickly because we've seen so many situations.
Right.
So we can pretty much, with us, you get this whole experience of value and a whole range of people on my team too.
Yeah, so with your team, when you think about that, this different skills, if you will, that are available within your team and the different financial skill sets, is that something where they're working collaboratively behind the scenes?
Oh, absolutely. We have a very close team. We're more than a staffing company, because a staffing company, we think, just throws people in there. We actually have a very carefully planned out team, and we can bring to bear different expertise, whereas a company might hire their own part-time CFO that's not part of a company, but you only get the skills that that person has. With us, you get our person's skills, but you get all of our skills.
Right.
So if there's something like a cap table, or there's a need for capital and banking relationships, and others of us have the expertise or relationships, we bring that all to bear. In fact, one of my clients recently said to me that's what they like about working with us best.
I love hearing that, because
Yeah.
that truly is the enrichment as well for your seasoned talent.
Yes.
As well as potentially some of the other talent that's coming to join you
Yes.
and learn from this seasoned talent.
Yeah.
And then in your own working environment, you've created something rather rich.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And my team loves it because they love going to different companies. So all of us CFOs, most of us, and controllers and even staff accountants, most of us have been with one employer for 15 or 20 or 25
True.
years. And frankly, it can get a little boring. Where with me, you get different things, and we learn from our clients too that we can bring to bear on other clients. You know, so it's really fun.
You know, and given the fact that you see into so many companies, I have to
Yes.
ask, I'm kind of going to be selfish, and I'm just going to say, you've worked for very large organizations,
Yes.
right, with wonderful HR practices and
Oh, yes.
full teams of HR strategy integration, if you will. And then you get out, and now you're working with these smaller businesses.
Yes.
Help me understand, against the just broad spectrum that you've witnessed, when you view HR in the fast lane, right? When you think about this, how can HR professionals do a better job of partnering and bridging to their CFOs?
Well, our clients really need usually a lot of HR help, and often they do not have anybody in-house. They've kind of designated maybe a sister-in-law or something to be the HR person. It's like they don't, a lot of people don't understand what accounting can do, and a lot of entrepreneurs and CEOs don't understand what HR is strategically can do. When the value of the people is the key to the success of the company, having the right people in the right seats. So as a CFO, we see that blatantly. So we've often done things like talked about compensation plans. Do you have the right people in the right seats? And we try to bring in HR as much as we can, your company especially.
Yeah.
But
Well, that integration, when you think about it, Deb, it's just truly, I sit there across from CFOs and I say, if you can help me understand the competency in this business that drives revenue.
yes,
What is this competency? And I actually need this information to do a good job.
yes,
And a lot of CFOs sometimes have to help me we strategize that together, trying to identify it sometimes.
You're absolutely right, because revenue is the key driver for financial success too.
Absolutely.
So you need to know the behaviors that drive revenue, and that's something that we've had conversations with clients who don't always kind of get it. So that's what you do is so valuable, because in my experience with big companies is HR really hires the right people that are going to drive revenue and meet the goals of the company. Not only that, but who can grow with the company, who can have the talent and initiative and smarts to grow with the company.
To help it scale and grow, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's truly that partnership between...
That's right. That's right.
I love that you actually just had that conversation with me, because I literally have been flown across the country to speak about this, breakdown, if you will, between HR and the financial divisions of businesses. And I've had CFOs even come and say, Nicole, is that a real thing? Is that really true that HR people and CFOs, don't speak the same language or can't talk, And there's whole topics about CFO magazines writing things on the human capital statements, et cetera, right?
Yes.
So you drive
it's
all
critical.
of these. Yes.
I mean, your biggest investment of most companies is in human capital. Yeah. And so that should be a CFO's concern. Now, not all CFOs are created equal. So if you get a CFO who's maybe more narrow-minded, they might see an opportunity to cut costs by reducing HR, but what they really don't realize is, no, it's going to create value by increasing revenue and helping the company right size and motivate people and get the right people, so you're driving the business success. Right. Those are the best-in-class companies that have the strongest HR departments, in my opinion.
And they're also partnering with their CFOs. They really are.
So I've done that in many companies where we've together worked through what's driving revenue in this company and how can we motivate people to do more.
Or even just recognize it properly.
Recognize it, right. Bonus it properly, communicate it. Get the right people who have that personality style that are going to understand that and integrate it into their person, and how they work for the company.
I just think it's so valuable, truly. If you're an HR professional out there and you don't have these types of conversations with your CFO, I want you to get up out of your desk. I want you to walk down the hall, knock on the door, and say, let's have lunch. And start asking these types of questions. And for the CFOs that haven't bridged down the hall, what would you say to them?
I would say listen to your HR people, because human capital is your biggest investment in your business. And that's where your return on investment is going to come from, by having the best people with the help of the HR department.
And see what fun we can have together?
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much, Deb. It's been a wonderful opportunity to just have this exchange with you today.
Great.
I think it's been really valuable. And I definitely want people to be able to find you if they want to learn more about Kase Orion CFO. So would you mind telling where to find you?
Sure. My name is Deborah Morrin. That's Morrin. And my website is Kase Orion CFO. That's KaseOrioncFO.com. And my phone number is 312-810-3010. So please call or email me at dmorrin@KaseOrionCFO.com.
She's going to regret putting that out there. You're going to get slammed, girl.
I hope so. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, everyone.